So Heath, we've been working together for a long time. We get excellent feedback from buyers. You've got some of the best conversion rates on the developer side. So that's why we've invited you in. Thanks for taking some time to come and share some tips with us.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me along. And our relationship for a lot of years now has been very fruitful for us and our clients. So thanks for your support.
One of the things we always talk about is, the quality of the team, whether it's the builder, the developer, etc. Why do you think that's so important? Can you share some insights on that?
Yeah, certainly. At the moment, in particular, a lot of purchasers are just nervous about what's going to happen. And I've said for a long time, I think property development is a team sport. You need to assemble a good team that can actually deliver. And purchasers at the moment are looking out there and saying, well, do these people, not only have they got the technical know-how to deliver, but do they have the financial capability to do it? And that's a really important thing at the moment. So what we do is we spend a lot of time with our developers and with our teams to make sure that we can articulate the difference to the purchasers, give them confidence that what they're actually looking at buying is what's going to be delivered.
We're always trying to do is think about how do we help buyers tell the difference between a fly-by-night developer doing one project and perhaps a bit dodgy versus your kind of like really high-quality developer that's got a good brand, been in the market for a while, and as you say, got the know-how. Who are the developers that you think that you're trusting right now that you're partnering with?
Yeah, at the moment we're working with a great developer, LDS Property, on a project which is our most successful project at the moment, Gallery in Glen Iris. And they've been fantastic, and just that attention to detail and making sure that they're delivering on their promises. They just want to make sure buyers are aware of what the finished product's going to be so that they can stick to it. And I think a lot of people look at developers and what to ask, and that's a really interesting one because what they really want to dig a little bit deeper, and it's not just about the track record all the time. It's about making sure they've assembled that team. So sometimes you'll have someone which is quite a wealthy developer and might have some great financial backing, and they've just assembled the technical know-how below them. That's a good development team. So they don't necessarily have to be one that's been around for 20 years.
So you've had tons of projects that have launched successfully, sold all the way through. How do you advise your customers in terms of sales and marketing for their projects?
I think the first thing we always start with is what are you wanting to achieve out of the project and out of the campaign? So it sounds like a silly question because generally the answer is we want to sell the thing out. But for some developers, they'll want to sell a portion, they'll want to keep some as an investment or what have you. So it's a matter of really just understanding what the triggers are. The first trigger is normally pre-sales to get construction started. So that's normally where our focus starts. Our campaign will normally feature part of REA because I think it's just a good familiar platform that most buyer types are used to. Urban's obviously a big part of our campaigns as well, and the two platforms really complement each other quite well. Content production is really important. PR as a PR strategy, so it's articles on various stages in the project as well. So where it's launch, there's stamp duty savings for a certain portion, or builders appointed, all these other press releases which can go throughout the project. Video content's really important, social media, retargeting, all the rest of it as well. So there's a whole lot of things we do as part of the structure of that campaign, but it's about making sure we're actually getting the end result desired.
One of the key things that we see drive, high inquiry or low inquiry on urban is often, two things: price and design.
Yep.
How should developers be thinking about getting those things right?
When we start working on a project, it's often when it's right at the very start, before the town planning permit or before the town planning application even starts. So what we look for from our developers is a guide to what gross realisable value they need and how we cut that up appropriately. So the management we do is about making sure we've got efficient designs so that we're maximising the value per square metre out of that development and pricing appropriately, because just going bigger is not necessarily better. And often when we go bigger, we end up actually diluting our rate per square metre, so it's quite counterproductive. So it's a matter of just designing appropriately and getting our sizes right to maximise the value.
And I guess buyers are kind of, as you say, it's not always bigger, isn't always better. And smart design you can have a smaller space with effective design and really hit what the consumer's looking for and be able to bring it in at a price point that makes sense for the area.
And that's right. There's price barriers in everywhere you go, whatever the product is. One bedroom apartments, going beyond about 550,000 is a real barrier. Two bedroom apartments going over 800,000-900,000 is a barrier. If you go to the difference between a $2 million buyer and or a $1,995,000 buyer and a $2,010,000 buyer is vastly different. So it's just a matter of understanding those price barriers and what that buyer expects.